Hello, everyone, really fast before the podcast proper starts. This is Will. Just want to let you know, a little word to the wise. Had a little bit of recording issues this week on the podcast, mostly with Moose's mic and with Saf's internet connection. So there will be times where they might sound a little strange, might sound like they're not quite part of the conversation. Know that that's just a one-time thing. It'll be fixed in the future. Noah worked hard to make it sound as good as it does, so thank him for that. But just if you ever seem a little confused or we ever sound a little confused, no, that's what happened. But I still think the show is enjoyable, and I hope that you all do enjoy it. So with that all being said, let's listen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet that Silicon Valley and Discord doesn't want you to hear. I'm Will, and joining me today, Moozamil.
We don't have any technical difficulties.
Smooth ship, Brandon.
You ever play Space Station Silicon Valley on the N64?
I've seen people play it. Noah.
I have no witty comment to make because I'm a bit annoyed at Discord.
And Seth.
I think I died twice.
Wow, you're like our Lord and Savior. How's everyone doing this week, boys?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Hey-o.
It's weird. I'm feeling this like strange sense of deja vu, but yeah,
it's almost like we recorded the first 6 minutes of this podcast, and then suddenly we had to restart. Might be a Groundhog Day situation. But besides that, I mean, I feel okay. Now, I think we should just get into the news this week. We got some stuff to talk about. We talked so much on the Nintendo Direct last week. Perhaps deservedly so. There was stuff to talk about with the Direct.
Overly,
but
there's no such thing as overly, sir. When it comes,
I didn't say overly. What are you talking about, Moose?
I swear I heard you say that.
You said perhaps.
Perhaps,
but I put the question mark. Some people, we're not here to judge.
I am. That's the only thing I do.
I cannot believe the Jump Up Supercast would talk about Nintendo.
That's honestly a fair point. But there were two other game announcements that, I mean, in this group of people aren't exciting as much, but are big games, and I think there's something worth talking about with them. First up, we have The Division 2 is announced. It's coming out. We don't know anything else besides that. We know that we're going to hear more about it at E3. So Ubisoft's one of their big new games this generation is getting a sequel, despite being claimed to have been a games as a service that would last forever.
Great.
How do we feel about that?
Fantastic.
I don't give a shit.
Pretty much.
Now, I do... Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, the previous Division game barely registered with me at all. And this one just seems kind of like... It seems like more of the same, really.
Well, we've seen nothing of it, Saf, so that's really hard to say that it seems like more of the same. We know it's called The Division 2, so in that way, I guess it is the same.
I mean, like, has there been any, like, 4 sequels for this shit? Like Assassin's Creed and all that jazz?
Well, I do want to take note, though, because I was looking at The Division when this was announced, and actually, The Division has a player base that held on shockingly more than you think it would. Ubisoft's actually gotten really good at that. Like, quietly just, like, keeping their games going. Like, Rainbow Six Siege has as many players as it's ever had, and that game is 2 years old. Same for Ghost Recon Wildlands. Has a active community that gets continual updates for free. And The Division got a lot of just continual free updates. So, I mean, that's interesting in that way. Like, hopefully they've got some goodwill from that. But it is weird that we've seen that, like, a lot of games that came out and said, like, we're going to be games, this game's going to last you 5-10 years. My name's Destiny. My name's The Division. And then 3 years later, they're like, actually, we're going to put out a sequel. Because turns out, sometimes when you're a single player or co-op based experience, having a defined beginning and end is good for a video game. So
Makes sense.
There's that. Yeah. But then the other big one, we have technically what is like among the biggest video game franchises, Call of Duty, Black Ops, I got it right. I got 4 eyes. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is coming out this year. Actually, of note, they gave a date. It is October, which is crazy because normally October is not a day that they normally have claimed November, about the second week in November for the last like roughly 10 years, and they're shifting off of November for October. I'm not sure why. I would think it might be to get in front of Red Dead Redemption 2. So, how do you all feel about that?
I still don't give a shit.
Brandon, give me something. Give me something.
I'm struggling to think of something.
The thing
I give a lot of
I have-
shit about what you just talked about.
Why do you have to feel about Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Mr. Mill?
Yeah. Just how stupid it is. The logo upsets me deeply on a deep personal level.
Yes, that's the only
it-
problem I have. I mean,
It's really dumb. It's whatever. But that's not important. But what I am interested in, actually more so, is how successful Treyarch has been.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty because Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 of those are in the top 5 best line Call of Duties. That is
Yes.
insane for when.
Yes, and the other two are Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
So we see that the numbered entries do better, and 4 is the most that any spin-off type of game has gotten. Right, Modern Warfare got to 3, and Modern Warfare changed Call of Duty forever. So it's really crazy that Black Ops 4 got to 4.
excuse me, Call of Duty original got to 4 technically.
Yeah, but they were not in a series. That's not what you're talking about.
Go home,
You're being a
nerds.
real smart ass.
Get out of here.
This is the first time a sub-series for Call of Duty has gotten
Yes,
this high.
a sub-series, a subtitle, and a number.
Yeah, and I think that's worth talking about, right? Is that's good for Black Ops is the premier, I think, Call of Duty franchise now, right? Without a
Yes.
doubt.
It's the biggest one.
Yeah, and Infinity Ward,
it's flipped.
and Infinity Ward is nothing, right?
Yeah.
Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare was the...
Yeah, Infinity War. Didn't EA? Activision. Sorry, didn't Activision break up Infinity Wars or something?
Well, I mean, there's the whole thing about the people.
The Titanfall people were the people at Infinity Ward, and
Yeah,
Infinity
they're
Ward was
the
then
people behind
restaffed.
Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, and they left, and then that kind of led to the downturn of Infinity Ward. But still, Treyarch pulled it up, imagine a world where Treyarch didn't get their shit together when Infinity Ward collapsed.
Yeah.
So
The
I mean,
Treyarch is now the new baby for the Call of Duty franchise.
And Sledgehammer has risen like crazy, right? They did Advanced Warfare before this, but then World War II last year did for that
Amazingly.
series really well. It turned around. It flipped the downwards trend of Call of Duty games.
Wait, sorry. Advanced Warfare was a success in Call of Duty terms?
No, World War II was a success. They did Advanced Warfare, then they did World War II. Advanced Warfare was sales-wise a downward trend that had continued for a while. World War II last year turned that around. It did much better than the previous year's entry, which was Infinite Warfare. Also interesting, basically, they said they want to not go as future techy as they did in Black Ops 1 to 2 to 3. They kept going further and further into the future timeline wise, and they want to scale it back. So it looks like with Battlefield going back to World War I and World War II, and with Call of Duty going back to World War II, and then we assume before probably present time for Black Ops 4, that we're sort of going through that cycle again. We went from World War II to modern times to future tech, and now we're sort of cycling back to before modern times, which is interesting.
My only wish for Black Ops 4 is do you remember the zombie mode for Black Ops 2 and 3?
Yes.
I wish they do something as crazy as that, but not the same.
They probably will.
Yeah. As long as it's...
I mean, it'll be zombies. The zombies brand is too strong.
I don't want the zombies anymore. I want something different, but I still want something crazy from them.
Yeah, I mean, they got weird with you could do a predator. You can be the predator in a Call of Duty Zombies mode, right?
That was cool, yeah.
Yeah, so that stuff's crazy. But yeah, so those are two games that are obviously going to be huge. They're going to sell millions of copies, but we'll see if any of us play them. But they're still interesting to check the status of the. Well, yeah. Maybe, who knows? We haven't seen anything. Maybe it'll blow your socks off. Maybe your mind will be changed at E3 or at May. We're gonna find out more about Black Ops 4.
Really impressive trail to do that.
Change my mind.
I mean, I'm open to it. If they can pull it off, then yeah, I'll play it. I have no objection, but
go ahead, but
it's not. I mean, there's something, and obviously, even if we don't personally show a lot of interest, they are important to the industry. Speaking of things that are going on in the industry that maybe we don't engage with as much, but is interesting. EA Access is adding in Warner Brothers games. They're adding in all three of the first three Arkham's games, which is Asylum, City, and what's the one? Origins. There we go. The one that we always forget. They're adding that to their EA Origin Access, which is the PC one, not the Xbox one. But they're also adding in a couple of games like The Witness. But this is the first time that we see a big publisher's subscription service have another big publisher's games on it. And so, sort of, my question is, like, in my mind, I always thought the race was going to be, when will Warner Brothers, when will Ubisoft, when will Activision all be doing their own subscription things? But now there's a potential new thing where, like, instead of maybe Warner Brothers doesn't have as much of a library to pull from as EA, but they can get some money from an agreement to have with EA Access. Do you think that would be an interesting thing to look forward towards in the future? And do any of these publisher-based subscription things, not first-party stuff like Microsoft Game Pass, but or PS Plus, but like the EAs of the world, their type of services, do they interest you?
I mean, sorry. Wait, first of all, is this PC only? Or
this is PC only. It's not on Xbox. It's on the Origin service. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, this is a good way, I think, for EA to maybe get more people to care about Origin, you know? Like, it's like, now it's not just EA games. It's like, hey, there's this really cheap $30 a year service, which is, I mean, let's be honest, that's very cheap, right?
That's crazy cheap.
Yeah. And it's like, not only are you getting our catalog, and not only do you get to play our new games for 10 hours for free, right? And not only
before they come out.
A week before they come out, you can play the first 10 hours of every game we publish, right? Not only all of that, but also on top of that, now you also get Warner Brothers games, right? So like Warner Brothers games, and maybe other publishers in the future. Who knows? But like, I don't know. That's a very good value, you know?
Yes.
And maybe you would get people to look at Origin a little more compared to just Steam, right?
Yeah. Which is, because I mean, that's the problem, is that Steam so dominates the PC marketplace in particular that anything that you do will be competing against them. But also, it's not like Steam's doing a lot to engender a lot of goodwill these days, you know? Like,
right.
Everyone sort of acknowledges that, like, it has tons of problems. It's just that it's the clear leader. And so there's, you know, there's Humble, there's Good Old Games, or GOG, I guess it's no longer Good Old Games. But, like, there are now services that, like, while they're certainly not nearly as big as Steam itself, they are gaining notoriety, right? And splitting up that market might be good for that market. Because, I mean, PC is most well known, I would say, in terms of its market, for being cheap, right? For having sales often and frequently. And so maybe having more of them will be good. Let's see. But another thing where we're getting free games, Twitch Prime, right? Which is the thing that comes with Amazon Prime, where you get a free month of subscriptions for any Twitch channel you want. You get a few extra, since it's launched, you get extra goodies. Like, for example, this month you get a couple of skins in Fortnite. You know, in a pack. In the past, you've got like Hearthstone cards, stuff like that. Now they're going to be adding just straight up free games with Twitch Prime.
Damn.
And for the month of March, you can get Super Hot, which is, I mentioned the VR one recently a few weeks ago, but the core Super Hot game's still very good. Oxenfree, Mr. Shifty, which came out last year, Shadow Tactics, which is a RTS game, and Tales from Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation, which I have no idea what that is. I did not have time to look it up.
That's kind of crazy. Like, I mean, Twitch Prime, I mean, Amazon has been making it so like if I'm into video games, right? They're making the subscription more and more worth it, right? With the Twitch integration. And now it's like, I just get straight up free games and they're DRM free. Like,
yes,
which is kind of crazy. And there's some good shit on there. Like, and next month we're getting SteamWorld Dig 2, which is like one of my favorite games on Switch last year. So, you know, like,
Tales in April, you're also getting, like Moose said, you're getting SteamWorld Dig 2, you're getting Tales from the Borderlands, you're getting Kingsway, which is a very neat game where you essentially are playing on like a Windows 98 desktop, an RPG. Like the interface of the game is windows that pop up on your desktop.
Right.
Which is neat. Tokyo 42 and Dub Wars, which I don't know about those two. I think I know Tokyo 42. It's actually a pretty neat game, but I don't know Dub Wars. But like I said, like this is as respectable a a free games lineup as like Xbox and PS4 had for a lot of their last year. You know, like
a lot of these games are same free games that have already been given out on those before, but.
Well, no, a lot of these are new. I mean, these are newer games, right? Like Steam
Oxenfree is not. Mr. Shifty, Oxenfree and Mr. Shifty are both less than a year old.
No,
as is
some of these
Shadow
games.
Tactics.
I'm not saying all of them.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, there's like a lot of
still
these.
Cool. I'm not.
Yeah.
But these are typical free games that they've been giving away. Like I have Tales of the Borderlands was free on
that
Xbox
one specifically, yeah,
and on PS4, and
Right.
now this. Super Hot's gonna be free on PS or on Xbox this month.
Yeah,
for sure.
which lines up. But I think that they would do well to focus more on more recent indie games because they don't have as many big exclusive things. Like Sony this month for PS Plus went like, hey, here's Bloodborne and here's Ratchet and Clank, which are two big exclusives, right? You can't be getting them for free on other services, which I think is smart for them to do. I think that for a thing like Twitch Prime, if they're looking at these games, they would be smart to get the Kingsways of the world, the Oxenfrees of the world, those type of games, because like Kingsway's not on other platforms. It's only on PC.
It's only right.
So I think that any of these services would do well to focus more on exclusives that are also free, rather than just, like you said, Tales from the Borderlands isn't as exciting because I've had access to it multiple other ways beforehand. But I do think that like it's the free games thing is getting kind of weird and crazy. Like I think it's interesting to see how companies are willing to lose individual sales of units in order for a more consistent subscription-based service. Because companies want more consistent income, and that's what this can be for them. And in a situation like with Twitch Prime, it's just a cherry on top of the admittedly expensive Amazon Prime service. But it's interesting. We'll see more about it, and we'll keep up with it. We might just, I don't know. It might be worth it to just like go over them every month. There's so many now, but we'll see. But I want to get to a big thing. Perhaps the biggest game right now, which is weird to say, because it's also a game that I don't think a lot of us are playing. But this week has been a big one for the Twitch hit Fortnite. This week, the most popular streamer on Twitch is a Fortnite streamer. His name is Ninja, and he played with Drake as well as a... Brandon, do you know which team?
I know, and I hate him. So, I mean, I guess I'll say him for terms of news. His name is Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also, go Patriots. But he is. But they all stream on Twitch. They got over. I think it peaked out at over 600,000 viewers on his one channel.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Huge. This is over double the previous Twitch record, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. And that includes tournaments, right? That includes like the international and Evo. This guy more than doubled the main event of those tournaments, which is crazy.
That's insane. Like what?
And it's not just like the draw of Drake, which is also the name of my new album. Please look forward to it. But it's that Fortnite is huge, and I feel like no one before this week has been talking about how huge it's been.
Right.
Looking at Twitch the last month, I'm gonna look right now, live on air. Please be excited. But like, right now it is League of Legends has a huge tournament going on right now, and it's just barely above Fortnite. League is at 263,000 viewers. Fortnite is at 240,000 viewers. Just casual, normal day of viewership.
That's insane. Like this game is huge, right? And it's really hard to like picture, like, because for us, like, I guess core gamers, right? Like we're not really talking about it nearly as much, but this game is super mainstream, right? Like getting as much talk as like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we've all played it, but
yeah.
Me, Muzzy, and Noah, we were playing it like months ago.
Right.
Yeah. We played it when it launched.
Mode first came out is when we tried it out, and it was a good game back then. But like, I don't know if you guys have gone back to it. They have added a lot.
It is a crazy iterative rate.
I think that speaks a lot to like the way in which they decided to take this or create this game or like develop this game. Whereas like the reason why it came on PC first, exclusively for PC, is so that they can take on user feedback and then update and add new shit constantly without having any.
Well, I think the Battle Royale mode was on all consoles at the same time. Like, it all came together.
Yeah,
But-
and there was a mode that they added in After Sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing too, right? It's like the original envisionment for Fortnite was not this mode.
Oh, it's
that is the
completely
biggest
different,
mode.
right? And this game was like 7 years in the works, and then like riding off of PUBG, they kind of just added this what was supposed to be a side mode, right?
Yeah.
But it's now the main thing. It's like this when people hear Fortnite, they're thinking of the Battle Royale mode, right? Like
Yes.
100%. The actual PvE mode, no one actually cares. Not that many people like really care for that one.
Looks fun though. I want to play. I just don't want to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah, that's
that
the
one's
thing.
going to play eventually, but no, but I mean, clearly the focus right now is on the Battle Royale mode. It's doing super well, and I think kudos to Epic for like being able to keep a high player base and build on top of that, right? Because they are giving people a reason to come back every week, right? They're constantly adding new things. They have these weekly challenges and stuff that give people a reason to come back, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're doing a phenomenal job of making you want to play it more and more and more and more, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Like, I mean, I don't want to make this a PUBG versus Fortnite discussion.
I do.
But I think, well, yeah, fair. but like, it is tied to the identity of this mode, right? They
Yeah.
said when they announced it, we love playing PUBG. We want to make a mode that's like PUBG. That's what they said it out loud on camera. But I think the difference is one that because Epic makes the engine that both games are running in, they know how to make a much more solid performance on consoles than PUBG clearly has.
they can optimize this way better, right? Like PUBG
Yes.
runs like garbage, right?
Especially on the Xbox, right, which is the only place to play on consoles right now. And two, I think that just like Bluehole is not Epic's also not huge, not as big as you think they would be, but in terms of the game development end of things. But I think that their pipeline to pump stuff out is much faster than PUBG's was, which is a key to keeping a player base engaged.
I mean, I think like Epic has experience with big successes like this before, right? Like Gears of War was huge, and like whereas PUBG was like, I mean, I don't think Bluehole expected it, right? It was like
No.
it just kind of came out of nowhere, and they're not prepared to suddenly have to placate like 30
To be the
million
biggest game in
users.
video games. Like there was a 2-month period where it was the biggest game in video games.
Wasn't PUBG supposed to be like some guy from another game just like decided he didn't want that game to be the way it was, and he wanted to be and designed PUBG as a result of it?
Well, he worked. Yeah, I mean, Player Unknown is a guy who was known in the community for doing like H1Z1, King of the Hill, and stuff like that. Like he's worked on those type of mods, and so I just want to make an own game, basically, right? So I want to be beholden to the Arma engine, and so because of that, like there's stuff there. But I want to. But an interesting thing about both games is that both PUBG and Fortnite might be getting bigger because both of them, along with Ark Survival Evolved, all within a week span of itself, announced a mobile version of all of those games. And when I saw the headline for mobile version of Fortnite, I was like, "Oh, it'll be like a tap thing, and like you build structures and you can like get points that you can then bring into your main account in the main game. That'll be big because Fortnite's big, but it'll be a mobile game." I was wrong. Spoilers, it's the game. I mean, they've made some changes to it. Obviously visual downgrades for your phone.
Because you can play with anyone, right? Any PC console player, if you so desire.
All these versions interact. Xbox plays with everything. I mean, basically, Xbox and PS4 can't play together, but everyone else, it's free game.
Like
play,
PC, PS4, and mobile, or PC, Xbox, and mobile. But that's crazy. Like the full ass game is just on your phone. And of course, you could choose to just play with other phone players, which would probably be best, right? Because you're at a huge control disadvantage.
Yes, that's when you naturally matchmake without being in a group, you will pair with other players on the similar platform, but you can party up with anyone, right? So if I was at home, Moose was on I was out at work or on break and he's on his phone, he could party out with me on PS4 and we could just go play.
And just having that option is just amazing, right? Like, because it literally just on my phone I could play with Will, who's on his PS4. Just that thought is just insane to me, you know?
That is super cool.
Yeah. And I really think this game is going to explode on mobile more so than it already has, you know? Like I don't know if you saw, but it was number 1 on like 13 app stores where you can't even play it yet because it's invite only. But so many people have just already downloaded it without even being able to
while
play
waiting
it.
for the invite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like, I work at a middle school, right? And the game that they talk about, like there was a while last year where the main thing they talk about was Pokemon Go. There's different games that people talk about. The game of the last month has been Fortnite, right? And they've like when they're playing around outside, they're like, yeah, Fortnite roll, and they like roll on the ground and they found an assault rifle. Like they're acting like they're playing out the game. It's whatever. They're like 10, so it's fine. But like the fact that they can now play that on their phones, that's just going to be what they're going to be doing for their break time, right? That's just going to be it. They're just going to be on their phones playing Fortnite with each other because they could pair up with the school's Wi-Fi. It's nuts. It's the thing that's like that we like, and it's not only that, it's that Epic came out when they announced this and said, hey, we want this to be every Epic game going forward, but not only every Epic game, every Unreal Engine game. We want it to be able that every game that is made in Unreal Engine can easily be ported to mobile. Which is nuts.
Wow.
That's a huge goal. Who knows if it'll happen? But I think that there was a lot of talk among the gaming press about 5 years ago, right? Of what will mobile, especially before the Xbox One and the PS4 were out, of what is going to happen with the mobile market. Are they going to kill traditional consoles? Are all the kids just going to be playing on their phones forever? And I think people do not. Will Angry Birds be the future of video games and not Mario? And we now see that Angry Birds was not the future of video games. Angry Birds is not a part of the conversation now. But I think, thank God. But I think I think that like no one considered the path that like, hey, maybe our phones will just be another console. Like maybe it'll just be the same games. They look worse, they run worse, but they're mobile and they can play with other consoles. That's a whole different future than what I was envisioning 4 years ago. And I don't mind it, I don't think. I think this is fair. I don't think that we now see that people aren't buying phones for video games, but that it's only good for the health of the industry that they don't have to make these weird mobile games. They can just make a PS4 game that also runs on your phone. That's cool. We're cool with that, right? It's just like any other thing. It's like we're cool with that for the Switch.
And it's a huge boon for like multiplayer games, right? Because now the theoretical player base for a multiplayer game is just expanded like crazy, right? Like, and because everyone has a cell phone, right? So for everyone to be able to play a game like Fortnite, no matter what you're on, I can be on PS4, you can be on mobile, whatever, right? Like it's such a great thing for multiplayer games, and I want to see this going forward, right? Like I want to see more of this, and I hope
it definitely is a good thing for multiplayer because when you think about a lot of multiplayer games, unfortunately, even if you love a game, the user base, like let's say you play a game on the PS4, you know, you have a couple years after its release, you have a lot less chance of playing with somebody. But if it's a game that it's on everything and it has cross-platform, so whether or not you could match up with somebody on Xbox, on PS4, on PC, on mobile, it'll keep that player base alive for so much longer. And you don't have to worry about like, just the Xbox version's player base is dwindling or whatever, right? Like, yeah, exactly. Like what you play it on Xbox, but you're like, well, I love this game, but I have it on Xbox, but there's only 50 people online at any given time now.
Yeah, I remember the Street Fighter V had that problem on Xbox, or not Xbox, sorry, but on PC when it was for a little bit, right? And then they made it crossplay, and that problem was solved in a big way. And so, I mean, I have to ask: do we think that when the PS5 and the Xbox One 2 or whatever they call the next Xbox come out, do we just see a world where they can crossplay?
I think Sony will play ball eventually.
Not with its exclusives, obviously, but
well, no, I mean, no, but like,
I mean, games that are cross-platform
with multi-platform games, I think.
Maybe if they lose out on a bunch of sales. I feel like they're going to be
very selective with it.
Yeah, like if they're not leading the sales, then yeah, maybe they'll start thinking.
I don't know. I think in for potential next consoles, right? Like Epic has a big bargaining chip now, right? Where they can be like, look, Sony, like you want Fortnite more than we want you, you know?
Yeah.
And if you want this on the PS5...
Because Microsoft has PUBG over here.
Right. So it's like, if you want this on the PS5, you start allowing crossplay, you know? Like, I think the bargaining chips are not... Because before, it's like publishers always had to play ball with these guys, right? But I really do think it's at a point where, like, if enough demand is there from their publishing partners, I think it's an inevitability, right? Like, they just...
Where there's enough delivery platforms where... like they don't have to be relying on the console makers as well, right? Like,
I mean, because they're making so much money on just every other platform that's just like we don't need you, you know. So it's like you need us more than we need you, so it's better for you to play ball, right? Sorry, and this just benefits every publisher, right? Because it's like the sales of their games will just especially for multi-platform games are just going to skyrocket, right? Where it's like because people don't have to worry about player bases. I am more likely to buy a game where I can just get it on the platform of my choosing, where I don't have to worry about some of my friends are here and some of my friends are there, blah blah blah. You know?
Oh my God, please! Just so I can buy it on Xbox and get my achievements without worrying about that. Nobody's gonna fucking play with me.
Yeah, and remember with Fortnite that there was a 12-hour period where PS4 and Xbox players could play together. They accidentally implemented that feature. They did not mean to. It just happened, and it's like so clearly it's not that hard.
Rocket League developers have literally said that. Literally, they just gotta flip a switch and it's ready. You know, like they're just waiting on Sony to give the okay. That's it. They're good to go.
And Microsoft and these companies are now putting a screw to Sony specifically, right? Just being like,
yeah,
hey,
Microsoft
guys.
Is also calling out Sony quite a few times as well. It's like Sony made that comment. It's like, well, we don't want cross-platform play because of security reasons, and Microsoft's like, no, we got you. We got your security, safety shit.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, literally last week, Phil Spencer was like, hey, Fortnite, want to do crossplay? And Fortnite's like, yeah, dude, we're down. What's going on at Sony? And you're like, these companies are now starting Twitter feuds. And like, people are like, wow, tasteless of Xbox. But like, remember that PS4, it was a lot of things, but like, part of the reason that they had such goodwill walking into this generation is that they were willing to call out Xbox, right? The famous video of Shuhei and Adam Boyes being like, here, how to share your games on PS4, and they just hand the disc to each other, right? Yeah. Xbox being like, how to play with your friends on Xbox and PC. You connect. Like, they can do that now. And Sony, I would think, would be foolish to leave that open because I don't see what they benefit from not making it crossplay.
Right.
They don't benefit at all. They're just kind of being stubborn.
It doesn't. It's not like it makes you more. I don't believe that it makes someone more likely to buy it on PlayStation or whatever. Right? Like I don't. I think in the long run, it's better to implement this. Like maybe it's fine now where they have a bigger user base, blah blah blah. Right? But that's not going to always be there. You know. And it's super short-sighted for them to be like, oh well, we're on top. We don't give a fuck. Right? I think that's super dumb. And also always how the market leader collapses, right? Like we saw it with Xbox 360, we saw it with PS2, right? Where Sony and Microsoft were so high on the success of that console, where the next one they thought they could do anything and just fucked it up for the entire generation.
Yep, yeah. Hubris. It's hubris every single time.
And so I hope that Sony sees that and is like, okay, like we can't do this, you know?
Yeah. Because having 3 healthy console makers is the best for the industry. But so there's sort of just a lot wrapped up in there, but there we go. We talked about the biggest video game, I guess, right now. But we're going to talk about a personal game, one that I'm very happy got stuff for it. Sonic Mania announced new update, plus a new thing, Sonic Mania Plus, which comes out in summer. It's a free update for people who already have it. If not, it's a new box release.
No, it's not free update. It's going to be.
It's not
paid,
free.
It's going to be paid DLC. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was free.
We were getting mixed reports on that yesterday.
Getting mixed reports yesterday.
But it adds 2 new characters, which is Ray the Flying Squirrel and Mighty the Armadillo from Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, everyone's favorite characters.
The arcade game that never came out here.
Yeah, just weird and crazy. What are they doing? But cool, I guess. But also, we're going to be getting animated shorts with that are done by Tyson Hest. I don't know how you're supposed to say his last name. But he's the guy who did the intro and the pre-order trailer for Sonic Mania. He did Sonic Comics. And I love the way he draws those characters. Like, half the reason I love Sonic Mania is just that intro. I watched it about 100 times before that game came out because it made me so happy. Yeah, so that's just a thing that I'm excited for. I'm happy that I was worried when Sonic Mania came out that Sega of America or Sega of Japan would be like, we didn't make that Sonic, therefore it's not a true Sonic, so we're just going to let it die and not worry about it. So I'm happy that they gave the green light to let the Sonic Mania team keep working on that game. I imagine Mania probably did better than Forces by a pretty wide margin, so I can see why they might be monetarily motivated to do that.
Speaking of that game, can we just be thankful that one of those Sonic games were at least good?
Yeah, I know. Thank God. Two bad Sonic games in a year would be bad for my heart. I would just feel too sad. And thankfully, we got a really good one. But that's the news for the week, I would say. And
wait, can I just say something about Sonic real quick? I'm kind of sad that this DLC isn't like new levels. You know, like this is clearly more geared towards people who have not stopped playing Sonic Mania since it came out. You know, like
who are hyper engaged.
Yeah, the kind of people who keep replaying this game over and over and over. And there is a lot of content in that game, right? There is reason to do that. But for someone like me, like I don't know. It's not really for me.
It's for the people who know who Ray the Flying Squirrel and Mighty the Armadillo are. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, for someone like me, I don't know, that's not that big of a deal, right? Like, it's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's just not for... I don't know if I want to buy this, you know?
My only hope is that the reason they are doing these characters is because they are doing new levels, but for Sonic Mania 2.
Sure, yeah. I mean, a sequel would be great.
That's the dream.
Also, Amy win.
Amy win. Yeah, it's true. That's weird. It's weird that Amy's not in there yet. Because she's the only like big one that's missing from the core cast.
Wait, why
that's
Amy,
like
not
regarded
Shadow?
Well. Shadow lives in 3D. He dies in 3D. But do we want to move Moozamil to the game?
I would love to, since except I didn't win. I was handed it over, but that's okay.
Don't worry.
So my game this week is I'm gonna give you 2 options, right? What video game franchise sold more? You can tell me, okay?
Okay.
We said no sales numbers. Damn it, you had one job. Damn it.
So I'll keep score. Everyone gets to answer. We'll go in order. I'll call out your name. You give me an answer, okay? I think that'll be the easiest way. So yeah, I'm just gonna give you 2 options. You told me what sold more, okay? First of all, Super Smash Brothers or Crash Bandicoot?
Smash Brothers.
Smash. All right, no, so Smash. Brandon.
Smash Bros.
Okay. Saf.
Smash Bros.
And Will.
Crash Bandicoot.
That is a 1 point for Will. The rest of you are wrong, motherfuckers. Because
bullshit.
Crash has sold 50.
The numbers don't lie.
Surely there was not enough Crash Bandicoot.
Serious.
The whole franchise. 56 million units for Crash Bandicoot franchise, whereas Super Smash Brothers is 39. Big gap.
Did you just make
between the
56 million different Crash Bandicoot games? Is that what happened?
No. Hold on. The first 3 Crash games sold quite a bit. All right, so I just So,
but it's still quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Crash is a very big franchise. Moving on.
You might be right with the numbers, but we're right with the heart.
Yeah. Let's go with number 2. What sold more, Sonic the Hedgehog or Pro Evolution Soccer?
Pro Evo.
Ew.
Pro Evo.
All right, Saf says Pro Evo. Will?
Sonic.
All right, Noah?
Pro Evo.
And Brandon?
I'm probably wrong, but I'm gonna answer this how it should be. So I'm gonna say Sonic.
It is actually Sonic, yes. But surprisingly enough, it's only by 1 million. It's 87 for Sonic versus 86 for PES.
Evil
It's very close.
That is
very
shockingly
fucking popular.
close.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is
FIFA.
a big shocker.
I mean,
If it was FIFA plus P, it would.
Yeah, FIFA would just
whole other world.
destroy Sonic.
Disgusting. Nasty. People are fucking.
We're going to go with another one that's actually shockingly close. Halo versus Dragon Quest. I'm going to start with Brandon.
Man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say Dragon Quest.
One's really big in Japan, one's really big in the West. So
It's huge in the West.
Can I
East
confirm?
versus
Are you
West.
just talking about the games exclusively, or just the entirety of it? Like
the entire
all of the
franchise.
series. It's the whole
The
series.
whole franchise,
so
including
movies and
spin-offs,
shit.
whatever the
Yeah,
fuck.
okay.
Yes.
So, Safi, go. Give me
Halo.
a game. Okay, Will
Halo.
and Noah.
Halo.
You are right. It's Halo. You're all right by 1. It's just 1 million difference though. So yeah, they are
Very close.
shockingly close.
Good for Dragon Quest, to be honest.
Right? Yeah. Though to be fair, Dragon Quest has had a bajillion different games.
They've had a longer
They had a
time,
lot.
but it's just. I mean, still did better than I thought. I would have thought, even as a Dragon Quest fan.
Yes. Now, next one is this one's 2 recent games that came out. Which franchise has better sales, Monster Hunter or Dragon Ball? Will?
Monster Hunter.
Noah?
I'm gonna go with Monster Hunter.
Brandon?
Dragon Ball.
And Safi?
Shit. Dragon Ball.
All right, that's a point for Noah and Will. Monster Hunter has it beat by 7 million.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Good for them. That's crazy.
And I think
There's
Monster
so many
Hunter
Dragon
also
Ball
has-
games.
I think the thing with Dragon Ball is it has a bunch of games that sell about the same amount, you know? Whereas
Yeah.
Monster Hunter has a few games that just sold a shit ton every time, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then this is going to be the last one. What sold more, Pac-Man or Wii Fit?
Oh my God.
Noah.
Pac-Man.
Brandon.
Pac-Man.
Saf.
Wii Fit.
And Will.
I want to say Wii Fit.
It is Wii Fit, but just barely less than 500,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, those are very close. Yeah, but Wii Fit did it with 3 games. Really, only 2 because the Wii U one basically sold nothing.
Yeah.
But
Non-existent, really.
Wii Fit is a big franchise. So Will got all 5 right. The rest of you are all tied for last. So, you all have 2 points each.
That's amazing. Good job, guys.
Okay. All right. So I'll
Yeah.
do the game next week.
We'll do the game next week.
Barring any news taking too long. But that means that we move over to the list. And boys, it's my week to add. And I'm looking at this Jump Up Supercast game list. You can look at it in the paste bin in the description.
Oh, good. You mentioned it first this time.
Yeah. And this list is too top heavy. We have too much good stuff.
Yeah, we do.
And I don't want to, so I was looking at a game that I want to make it to the bottom of the list. But not just a game that's like bad. I want Superman 64. That's boring. I want to do a game that insulted me. A game that when I think about, I get mad. That when that feels like it took everything that I liked about the series that it was a part of and sped on it. Been said, what you care about is not what we care about, and we hate you. And
To be
that,
fair, before you say the game, Superman 64 could have also all those things if you love Superman.
how dare you? But my game this week is Paper Mario Sticker Star for the Nintendo 3DS.
Oh, ew. Terrible game.
Tooey.
Disgusting.
Gross.
Let me tell you what Paper Mario Sticker Star did.
What did they do?
Okay.
Paper Mario Sticker Star took Paper Mario is one of the most famous video game characters ever made. Mario is Mickey Mouse, right? But the problem with Mickey Mouse is Mickey Mouse doesn't get weird. Problem with Mario doesn't get weird sometimes. Sometimes you're New Super Mario Brothers, right? And I like New Super Mario Brothers, but it's a little basic. It's what we know Mario to be. Mario doesn't stretch his limbs any in those games, you know? Paper Mario is where Mario gets weird. Paper Mario 1000-Year Door, you walk into Rogueport, there's a noose. People have been hung in the Mario world. What does this mean? Mario becomes a pro wrestler. It's incredible. I love it. Great Gonzalez, baby. You run a train for 3 things. You made Rock Hawk. I love Rock Hawk.
The train was so... fucking love that.
Yeah, it was so good. I love that segment.
Super Paper Mario, right? It has some platforming stuff. It's not quite what 1000-Year Door was, but it was still weird. It was still unique. It had a vision. And then Sticker Star comes out, and the combat is bad. There's no reason to fight in that game. It's not an RPG. There are no unique characters. Every character is a toad. Every boss has to be an existing Mario character. It's the most milquetoast Mario is that Mario can be. It's the most safe, scared Nintendo is when I love them the most when they're at their craziest. And for that, I hate it more than Other M, because Other M at least played well. I want it below it. I want it right above Sonic 2006. People need to know this game is bad, and we want a regular Paper Mario again. Come on, Nintendo.
I was worried that you were going to put it below Sonic 06. I was like, no, that's just... Okay, at least it's functional.
Yeah.
It functions,
yes, you gotta give it
but
that.
it's an insult.
Yeah.
It is an insult. The game, it is an absolute insult. They absolutely murdered the franchise with that fucking game.
Yes.
Like, Will said it. There is no reason to fight in that game. There's no XP. There's no level ups.
And you have to you have to fight to collect cards in order to use in battles. So it's like weird.
But all the cards are one use, so it's like you don't want to use them. It's like the battle system is a huge mess.
Yeah, so you have to battle in order to get cards in order to be able to battle, but you also have to be conservative, otherwise you can't battle.
Yeah, you'll get you get good cards, and then you just don't fight for the rest of the game. All the bosses are literally, there's one card that makes them really easy, and besides that, they're a huge obstacle where you have to spend 50 turns using your most basic stuff over and over if you don't have the one magic trick.
If you can't figure out the one good sticker to use on a boss, you're screwed. Like, that boss fight will be near impossible, you know?
It's like Hooktail and 1000-Year Door, except it's every boss, and they don't give you the hint about what is good against it. You just have to try randomly. And to get the special things, you have to back out of the level, go back to the town, and then redo that entire level again to try again. It takes too much time. It's so, my God.
Now,
bad game.
it's a bad game.
Not a fan of it.
However, I still would not put it below Other M. I would put it above Other M personally.
No.
Well, I know there's a lot of Other M apologists in here, but
unjustly so. All right, why do you want it above Other M? Just curious.
Let me tell you. I mean, first of all, I think Other M is more insulting to Metroid than Paper Mario Sticker Star is to Paper Mario. Okay, It is the way they just ruined Samus's character is disgusting. Okay,
at least it was fun to play Other M.
Yes,
and according to Will and everybody in this chat, it was not fun to play Paper Mario Sticker Star.
I very much disagree. I don't think Other M is a good game whatsoever. People like to focus on the story, and Other M apologists like to say, well, at least the gameplay was fun. No, it's not fun, okay?
I am middling on
flaws with the gameplay itself in relation to the fact that it's just...
However, at least there is a core there. There is a core there of what has come before in Metroid. There is a core there of at least Ridley's in the game. Right? At least, like, there are characters in the game that, like, Samus is messed with, right? Anthony is messed with. But it was people trying to do Metroid, but doing it wrong, right? But messing it up. Sticker Star is, we want to do the opposite, right? They literally said, RPGs are Mario and Luigi. You will not make an RPG. Metroid tries to be isolating. It tries to be a lot of the things that are at the core of Metroid, just poorly executed. This game is a refutation of the things that made us like Paper Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it being below Other M. I'm just saying personally, I think Other M is a more insulting game, and Other M is just a worse game in general. Like, it's not good to play. The combat is shit, and just
at least you have a reason to do the combat. At least you have a reason.
I don't care about the reason.
The combat to me, I think the combat in Other M is not that bad. I actually liked playing that game.
Same.
Well, see, I don't agree at all.
The story was absolute dog shit. They ruined the character of Samus pretty hard.
And like, even though it's a linear Metroid game, like who wants a linear
It is, but it's at least it's not. It's the worst Metroid.
You want to say Paper Mario goes against everything that Paper Mario does, but Metroid does. Other M doesn't. Like, Metroid at its core is about exploration, and that completely strips it away. And you're telling me that's not opposite of what Metroid is?
At least it's mildly fun to play. I would rather
it's
have
fun as Sonic Unleashed just to play.
Almost no point of playing Sticker Star.
There's like, that's the thing, right? Is that like, at least there's a reason to play Other M, right? Like, at least there is something, like, even it elicits something, right? It's trying to do this weird story that's not well done, but it's like, it's people that want to try to make a mark. Sticker Star is trying to erase Paper Mario. It's trying to say that this is the thing instead, right? Like, to me, that is worse. I mean, we already have, it seems like 3 people who want to put it below Other M.
Sure, yeah. I'm just saying my piece, and I think Sticker Star has good music. It's the only redeeming quality of that game. Metroid Other M has 0 redeeming qualities in my opinion. So I just want to say my piece on that before you guys put it
now
below.
Everybody knows your opinion, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So there we go. We did it. The list this week. We have the bottom 5 rounding out. Though I think we can say that there's a big gap between 12 and 13. Number 1 is number 11 is Alundra, 12 is Crash Bandicoot, then Metroid Other M, then 14 is Sticker Star, 15 Sonic the Hedgehog 2006.
Will Sonic 06 ever be dethroned? We've already dethroned number 1
Or
twice.
depends on who picks
Maybe.
Superman 64.
There are games that I like
There
less
are
than Sonic
pretty
06.
shitty games out there. We might, for some weird reason, add one here. You never know.
Who knows what Saf will pick randomly for the game club?
Oh, I might discover one on the game club. Yeah.
If we ever play Superman 64, that might be on there.
But there we go. That's I believe, though, the meat and potatoes of the podcast this week. Good episode, boys. We overcame the struggles the internet tried to present in front of us, and we've made a podcast. But let's hit some plugs before we leave.
Yes.
First up, if I may do this, I want to talk about the Twitch channel for a little bit because we've talked about it before, but we fully are in the swing of things now. Why aren't we playing Fortnite? That's a good question. I was talking to Brandon. We have picked so niche and specific games for our Twitch streams. The only way you will discover it is if you made it to this far into the podcast. So thank you for making it this far.
Yeah, for real.
But every Monday we stream Monday through Thursdays scheduled every week. Sometimes we stream in the middle on other days if we ever feel the flight of fancy. But Mondays, Brandon, Noah and I do the golf club where we play a golf game of choice every week and enjoy it. Tuesdays, I am playing through Pokemon Emerald Randomizer. The Adventures of Mandy the Criminal continue. We're just at the 3rd gym badge, so look forward to that. Then Wednesday, Brandon, you have your own thing. What's that?
Well, right now it's Whack Wii Wednesday, where I play really bad Wii games, and it might change itself out to be an alteration between Whack Wii Wednesday and Wonderful Wii Wednesday, depending on how I feel. Because there's only so much shit I can take.
Yeah.
I've been playing some bad games the last couple weeks, and I think I need to cleanse myself.
That's fair.
So, might be some Wonderful Wii Wednesdays, but either way, I'll be playing some Wii games.
I hope it's still niche Wii games, though, even if they're wonderful. Like, don't go play Mario Galaxy, you know. Like,
oh no,
well, maybe.
Although Mario Galaxy is a great.
Sometimes you want to treat yourself a little bit.
I guess that's
fair. But I mean, I've already picked some out. Yeah. You know, got some examples like Wario Land Shake It in there, and
cool.
you know, Lost.
Can I live on the
podcast
podcast request that you play Zack and Wiki at some point? Because that would be that.
So I have that game. It's a very good game. I would gladly play Zack and Wiki.
Good request, Musino. And then Thursdays we have Terraria Thursdays with Saf and Noah. Saf, do you want to explain what you're doing in Terraria?
Oh yeah, we're just going around Terraria, building or attempting to build a treehouse. That's the main goal of this. So
Die a lot.
Die a lot. Yeah, die a lot. Improve on streams. Have terrible audio. Shit like that.
It's live learning how to stream. You start at rock
We're not
bottom.
learning how to play the game.
You start rock bottom and you build your way up. It's really
as the Terraria character gets better, the stream will also get better.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes hand in
It's
hand.
an interactive thing.
I see your vision all along, Seth.
Yeah.
It's avant-garde.
All according to Keikaku.
So there we go. Those are the Twitch games. I'm gonna plug. We might. It's on the Twitch channel. Go look at twitch.tv/Jump Up Supercast. Brandon and I. Brandon played and I watched and Noah watched some Kirby. No, Sam was there too. Some Kirby Star Allies on Friday of last week. That was an absolute joy. If you are like on that game, that's a good way to show it off. So check it out. It's at twitch.tv/Jump Up.
God, it was fun, man. I'm actually planning on streaming my entire playthrough of that game. So look, every time I play it, I'm going to be streaming it. So look forward. It's just going to be random, but if you follow us on Twitch, you'll find it.
And you can also find out when he's streaming Kirby Star Allies on our social media pages. So we have
Oh my god.
Yeah, we have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, we have an Instagram, and I think I'm forgetting something. But you can find us on all those platforms at Jump Up Supercast. Pretty simple. You get stream updates. We'll talk about the game club sometimes. Blah blah blah. So all our stuff is there. You can find that there. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, like I said, that's the podcast for this week.
Oh wait, I lied. Also, you can find us on YouTube and SoundCloud.
Oh God, we should definitely hit that one.
Yeah.
Should definitely hit that one.
This main podcast, you can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, and podcast services like iTunes or wherever you like to get a podcast. So yeah, every week we're here every Monday. So look forward to that. Yeah.
Keep your eyes peeled for the Game Club coming out this Thursday. Simpsons game. Simpsons Arcade, not the Simpsons game for the 360. But we want to thank you all for listening. We want to thank you all for liking, commenting, all that stuff we have to say. We'll hope to see you next week. And remember, just play some video games.
Totes.
Nah,
Seems like a good message.
Good advice.
I don't agree.